Hello and welcome to Romantasy Readers Podcast. My name is Nicole and I am joined as always by my sensational co-host who has a broken ankle, Alley. Oh my goodness, we can go into that another time. But guys, last episode, Alley actually had a broken ankle and she hadn't gone and checked it out yet. So she is very tough and very brave. But we are super excited. We have a very special guest for you today. You may have seen him on Instagram or Book Talk playing some of our favorite book boyfriend characters, Cassian, Azriel, or Cassian playing Tamlin. Please welcome Stephen Walker. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Thank you for joining us. We, well, I have to admit, some of our listeners reached out to us and said, guys, you have to interview Stephen. He has said he's open to coming on podcast and you have to have him on. So you were highly recommended. So clearly you've made
and requested.
They were probably related to me. It's probably nothing. It's not people that follow me. It's probably my mom and my siblings.
That's right.
You know, if your mom and siblings listen to our podcast, we take everyone.
Yeah? Okay.
We'll take a listener.
So tell us what I guess had you fall into the world of bookstagramming and book talk? Was that where you started, or how did this all come about for you?
Are you talking about social media in general, or where I find myself in social media today? Because I started TikTok in 2019. Just following trends and basically throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick, see how I could build a fan base. And my content has changed significantly over the years. But earlier this year, I was chatting with some women at church, and they mentioned that I should read the book ACOSF. And so I was like, all right, fine. Because I kept seeing stuff on Instagram and TikTok about Court of Thorns and Roses. So I read it, and I didn't like it very much, but I was also intrigued by it. And I recorded on TikTok just what I thought about it and my progress as I was reading. And it kind of blew up. So I was like, I like books. I could talk about books. So I just kept doing that. And then I think it was in January or February of this year. And I just hadn't stopped. And then I don't know if you know this about Book Talk, but it's a very niche place, but it's a very wide place. And there's a lot of people that admire other people talking about books. So I've had a good time with it. It's also a fun community, at least on the side that I'm on. I hear lore of it being terrible for other people, but I don't know. I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm just finding it funny that you were at the church group, and they recommended ACOSF.
Oh yeah.
That's
if you want to find out the recent and most popular spicy books, just pluck a girl out of church and talk to her for a minute. We'll give you the best recommendations.
Yeah.
And so you're nearly at 100,000 followers. So congratulations. That's a pretty big achievement, especially if you've only really been trying this in January.
Too,
yeah. Well, I've been trying for much longer, but it has only become successful since February. So
as it is for many of us. So tell us about yourself. You're from Texas, I believe, in the US, and are you kind of born and raised there, or tell us a bit about yourself.
Born and raised in Texas, yes. A little town called Bluffdale, Texas. For those of you that know that, probably not. It's a very small town.
I'm actually from Oklahoma, so I know Texas very well.
Do you know Bluffdale?
I do, yeah.
Oh, do you really? Okay. I was about to say, well, not that well if you don't know Bluffdale, but cool.
No, I do.
Yeah, our states touch. That's fun. Anyway, so I'm from Texas, and
I don't live there now, but yeah.
Where do you live now? Wait, this is about me. This is about me.
Yeah, this is about you. This is about you.
I'm kidding. No, where are you from?
Well, I live in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah now, but
You're from Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma,
live in Utah. Okay.
Correct, yeah. But grew up OKC area.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from Oklahoma.
I have all my friends moved to Texas, so all my friends are in Texas.
Yeah, all my exes live in Texas as well, so that's fun. So live in Texas. Been doing social media stuff since 2019, like I said, and I think I got really involved in it when everybody else did around COVID, which was 2020. And just started, like I said, posting random stuff, trying to find a niche. So it's been weird. I've been trying to find a niche in the online space for about 5 years, and I've just landed on what I believe to be the best niche so far and the most consistent, to say the least, for me.
Yeah.
Which is book talk. Because I've always loved books. I've always been a reader. Ever since I was a kid, my favorite series as a kid was obviously Harry Potter, Goosebumps, and Hank the Cowdog.
I love Goosebumps.
So, the big
Monster
three,
Blood. Yeah. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of got out of reading in junior high, a little bit of high school, because it became unpopular and I was trying to I know I was never popular. Let's not get that wrong. But I tried to be popular, and the popular kids didn't read books. And then I got back into reading books as an adult, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, do those kids have 100,000 followers now? Like, let's just ask
They
them.
don't, but
No.
yeah, that's what it is. If they could only see me now.
So
No.
you said you read ACOTAR and you hated it. Did you like future books in ACOTAR, or are you
I didn't
not
hate it.
really into ACOTAR?
I didn't hate it. I admired it. It was my first book in the what we could call the romantasy genre.
Yeah.
But maybe not really. Yeah, I guess romantasy. But I love fantasy. I've always loved fantasy. But that was like a little change. And so I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily like it. So, but I had I started posting about it, and people were like, oh, I can't wait for you to read the next one, because I was crapping all over it. And apparently people admired that. I don't know. But I read the second book and loved the second book, because I loved the characters. I loved the dichotomy of the night court versus the spring court. I think it was it's my favorite of the series. And then I just kind of got into that. And then I read Fourth Wing, loved Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I actually love Iron Flame more than Fourth Wing.
Ooh.
And then maybe we can get into that if you want to, but and so and then I'm reading the Throne of Glass series right now. I have not read Crescent City, but I'm on this book now. What is it? Empire of Storms. So
that's a good one. Like where exactly are you up to in that book? Like what?
I literally just started it, so don't tell me anything at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's a good one though. It's a good one. I feel like the Throne of Glass series just gets better and better. Like
so the Throne of Glass series starts horrible. It's just terrible. And then it gets better, and then it gets really good. So the last book, Queen of Shadows, is one of the best books I've read in a long time. But you got to go through all of the to get to the really good. Does anybody agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of people agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm always thinking about, like, if you're trying to introduce your husband, boyfriends, partners to, like,
I don't have either one of those. I just want to go on the record. I don't have a husband or boyfriend. Just letting you know.
Good to know. Just but like, so when you're trying to recommend them getting into this, often they're like, I don't want to read that. Like, that's for girls. I don't want to, like, it's not going to be for me. And you're kind of like, well, which series do I introduce them to? Do I start with Fourth Wing? Do I start with Throne of Glass series? Do I start with ACOTAR? What do you recommend? What do you think is the best one to introduce them to?
Are we talking specifically about Mama Moss, or are we talking about romantasy in general?
Probably with the hope that they'll then go on to read all the others. So, yeah, probably whichever one you think is the best.
Romantasy in general.
Romantasy in general? Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm new to the romantasy thing, so I don't have a whole lot of skin in the game other than the books I've just told you about. But if we're talking about, I guess I would say it depends on the type of person and the age of the person. So if it's a teenager, I would say Throne of Glass, because it starts out, it's easy to follow. It's not a whole lot of romance. Actually, I wouldn't even put Throne of Glass in romantasy personally. I would put that in the fantasy, strictly fantasy.
It's a lot older. It kind of happened before expectations of the genre existed.
Right. I've been told countless times that she was 16 when she wrote it. That's why it sucks so bad. But it was nice to see her progression as an author, because she's a great author now. But, you got to suck in the beginning. But her suck got published.
Well,
so
a lot of mixed feelings on her most recent book. But yeah.
Her most recent? Oh, the last Crescent City book?
Crescent City 3.
Yeah. I hear terrible and good things about that. So
it's it'll be interesting when you read it. I bet you'll get like a lot of engagement if you talk about it.
Yeah.
Because people either really, really love it and think it's really good, or people are like, that's crap.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's what we waited.
Or many of us are just believing that we've only got half the story, and maybe there's just we're just like waiting for the next book now, because we're like, I think she's only answered half the questions. So there's also that aspect. But
But I would say, now that I'm thinking about it, I would say read ACOTAR. I would recommend that to people wanting to get into the maybe the romantasy genre, because it's a good mixture of both, and that one's easy to follow also. I liked it. Like everybody talks about, the last 100 pages of any Sarah J. Maas book just freaking catch on fire and things go crazy. And that was my favorite part of that book, but it happened too quickly. I think the first part was just building up to the end that was way too short. And then the next book flips everything and makes it even better. So I would probably recommend A Court of Thorns and Roses as a good introduction to romantasy. But again, I don't have a wide plethora of romantasy books that I've read. So
Oh, you generally want to start from the top. Like, I feel like you'll want to recommend Throne of Glass because it's such a fantasy world. And if they've loved like Lord of the Rings or, Game of Thrones or anything like that, you would think that just covers, it's such a similar kind of fantasy world and story, but they've got to get through Throne of Glass and then the next book. They've got to get through to about 3 books in before it starts getting good. So they've got to commit to at least 3 or 4 books before they're going to start really enjoying it.
I'll say this about Throne of Glass, though. If I was a kid and read that, I probably would love it because I love Harry Potter, and Harry Potter has that similar path of it starts very childish and then it ends huge book and somewhat adult. Very similar to Throne of Glass. So if I was a kid, I'd love Throne of Glass, I'm sure. But as an adult, not having any nostalgia with it, it's just a subpar book with writing and stuff.
Yes.
I have a 19-year-old. I have twin brothers who are 19, and one of them was visiting this summer, and he was super bored because like he came without his twin and came with like children, my sister's kids, and was like super bored. And I was like, "Hey, do you want a book?" And he was like, "I don't want to read a book," So I was like, "Just read this." I gave him Throne of Glass. And I gave him the first 2 because I was like, just in case, and then I woke up the next morning and he had read the entire first book. And then like the whole, he read the whole series, like for the like week and a half that he was here. And I was like, okay, you like it.
Yeah.
So it was a good book for him.
It's a good introduction to fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and he likes to read. He read a lot as a young kid, and then, he got too cool for that. But he liked it a lot. So I had my husband read ACOSF. And I feel like I should have had him start with Throne of Glass because he read the first 3, I guess, and was like, they're fine. But he wouldn't keep reading. So he won't do like.
He read the first 3 ACOSFs?
Yeah, he did. And then was like, I don't want to read anymore, Sarah J. Maas. I was like, dang it.
Well, to be fair,
it really wasn't for him.
To be fair, she overuses certain words to exhaustion, and I hate that so much. I can only handle so much tongue clicking and flicking and throat.
And watery bowels.
Yeah, watery bowels, throat bobbing. God, shoot me.
And just all the fashion scenes when they're just like talking about like dressing up in, gowns to go to a ball or whatever. I'm just like, I do not think that's going to go down well. Just don't know if they're going to be into that.
Yeah. We listened to the graphic audio version of ACOSF, well, the whole series, and Feyre actually throws up a lot in the book.
I think she has a sickness that's not talked about enough. We just get to see the results of this sickness. It's never defined.
Yeah. But in the graphic audio version, they have like this one clip that they use when she's throwing up because they're, but it's the exact same noise. And so it's like this heaving noise over and over and over again. And it's the exact same noise. And so then we were like, okay, we got to play a drinking game every time we hear this like throwing up noise. It's pretty funny.
We're going to drink until we make that noise ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
All right. I think you've already semi-answered this because our next question was going to be, what are you reading right now? Are you only reading Empire of Storms, or did I also see you've maybe got started on When the Moon Hatched, or what else are you reading?
So I was going to start that, and I read the introduction and a little bit of chapter 1, and then somebody bought me that book, so I started on that. And I put When the Moon Hatched down so I could focus on it when the time comes because it's like a different thing, and I have to adjust my mind to it, and I want to spend as much time mentally as I can with that book, so I don't want to interrupt Throne of Glass. Does that make sense?
It's so good. It's so good. Just so you know, I have a big recommendation for everyone that reads that book, which is that you have to read it twice, at least the first 15 chapters, because what you're going to find is you're going to get thrown into the world, and you're not going to know what's going on. You're not going to know characters. The first 10 chapters, you kind of just going with it, and then the story kicks in. But then if you go and reread it, once you know everyone, you're like, oh, those two characters have a conversation? It's like, oh, I didn't even realize this happened. So definitely when you get into it, read it twice.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to reading it. I just got to get through Throne of Glass that I'm also enjoying as well.
Yeah, well, that also makes sense. I feel like once I start on a journey, like once I'm in a series, I can't leave that series. It's very hard to walk away from it when you just need to know what happens.
Yeah. But I spend my time reading nonfiction as well, so I'll throw some of that in there. I do a lot of audiobooks, audiobooks as well. Question though, does it count as reading if you just do the audiobook?
Yeah.
I say yes. I think so. I feel like the point of reading is that your brain is having to process things, and I feel like you're still processing them. Like maybe I don't know if it's the same way or a different way, but I think it counts as reading.
I
What do
think
you
it's
think,
the
Nicole?
same. I read Quicksilver, and then I'm now listening to the audio version because that just came out last week. And there's there's so much more I'm getting from it because it's audio.
Yeah.
I would say if anything, I'm getting more from it than reading. I feel like when I read, maybe sometimes I check out and I just like skip sentences, but yeah.
Do you have a hot take here? Do you think it's not reading?
I have a hot take. I do. It is not reading, but it is listening. So you're consuming the book, but you can't really say you read the book because reading you do with your face and your eyes. You don't read with your ears. I'm not going to go say, hey, I read this podcast today. No, I'll say I listened to this
That's
podcast.
true. That's true.
But
True, very
it still counts as having experienced the book. But I mean, I
Yeah,
still say
you
I
still get
read
to
the
mark it
book.
off
Yeah.
on your Goodreads.
Yeah, I still
And
say I
that's
read
what
it.
everyone cares about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not reading. Because if I do a lot of audiobooks and then I sit down with a book, I'm like, okay, how do I even read? This is not the same thing at all. I need the voice.
Yeah.
But I do both. I go back and forth because I drive a lot, so I'll do the audiobook. But I have to have the trophy behind me. I have to have the physical copy riding shotgun in the car with me. So when I stop, I can move the bookmark. So it's kind of like reading.
You just feel more satisfied, I think. So you just be like, see
Yeah.
this right here? Like, yep, this, I've read it.
Yeah.
You know.
If I'm doing
else
physical reads
is-
too, I can't do like an iPad or a Kindle. I have to have the pages because I just need to feel it. Like, right, you know what I mean? Like you got to hold the book and you got to feel it, smell it. You know what I mean?
I was like that for so long, and then I got a Kindle, and I like can never go back. I will have a physical copy of the book because at this point I get them sent to me from publishers and stuff, and
Oh, nice.
I will just go buy it on Kindle so I can read it on Kindle, and then I have my trophy. But it's crazy how much of a 180 I did. I was exactly like you. I was like, I need the visceral feeling of the pages, and now I had to read a physical book because
I can expand it and make
and
it,
I was
you know.
more upset about it.
I will say reading on Kindle is better than reading on iPad because Kindle kind of looks like a piece of paper almost.
Yeah,
just the lighting and
does,
stuff.
yeah.
It's different. If you read it on this, it's just neon and in your face. Ugh.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know if I would like an iPad
Yeah.
to read, but I'm a big Kindle reader.
How much have books come back though? Like we kind of went to this stage where it's like, oh, books are dead, they're dying. But now we're like, we want to smell it, we want to flip it, we want to just feel the experience of reading. Like we've all had that kind of comeback. And not just that, but we're also now getting these beautiful copies that, hard covers with sprayed edges and all that, which is just so stunning. I love it. All right. I wanted to talk about, because obviously you're reading Throne of Glass currently. And what are your thoughts on some of the characters in Throne of Glass? What are your thoughts on Aelin and Rowan and Manon? What are your thoughts?
Okay. Aelin is great. Selena is horrible. Okay. I know those are the same person, but they're not. Selena is terrible. She's supposed to be the greatest assassin in the world, but she's not. She doesn't kill people and she's an idiot. But Aelin is a great character.
Yeah.
He's also, it's weird because Rowan is essentially, what is he, 200, 300, something like that?
Yeah.
Years old.
Something like that.
But he's Fae, so it's okay, right? And she's what, 20?
Yeah, he looks like he's 27, so it's fine.
Yeah, but if you see a 47-year-old with a 20-year-old.
19.
She's 19?
I don't
that makes
even
it even
think
worse.
made it to 20 yet. I know.
If you go out and see a 47-year-old with a 20-year-old, you're like, ew, but he can be 200 and Fae, and that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. As long as he doesn't look like he's 40 or 50 or 200, that's okay. That's how I feel. So I like Rowan. He's okay. He's kind of got that character development, bad boy, but he's also got a soft spot. The stereotypical love interest of a book. I like who's that? Go ahead.
Did you pick up in Air of Fire? Did you pick up the change of were you still rooting for Chol or Kale as he's actually called? Were you wanting him and or were you?
Yeah, I call him Chol.
We actually never talked about this. You say Chol?
I do say
I used
Chol.
to say Chol for ages, and someone was like, it's Kale, like the lettuce.
Yeah. I know the actual names and the pronunciations, but I like to change them just for comedic effect.
Yeah.
So I call him Chol.
I said Kale when I was reading it. I never said Chol. And then you said Manon. I say Manon.
Well, I said Manon until I heard the audio version, and they say Manon, But it
Do
wasn't
they really?
it wasn't an official audiobook, so maybe that was their
Ah.
fault. It was like a person reading it, so I don't know. I could be wrong. But I
Mhm.
do like
What
Manon.
do you-
Manon's a very interesting character. She's kinda like a Nesta, kind of
Hmm.
like a Nesta, in that she starts off, mean and rude, but she also has a soft spot, and we're working through that.
No.
It's
And
been so long since I've read Throne of Glass that I'm like I'm trying really hard not to give spoilers because I want to be like, oh, what about this? And I'm like, where is that in the order of operations? So I'm just gonna
Well,
not.
in
I'm not
this
gonna say
stage,
anything.
she's kinda like Nesta. No,
Yeah,
I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just getting into the series apparently because the next 3 books are like this freaking big.
yeah, they're super long.
Yeah,
no. But
Are you gonna do okay? Big important question. Are you gonna do the tandem read or not?
no.
You're not gonna tandem
I
read?
probably
Okay.
would have if everyone didn't say you should do it, and I like to be a contrarian and go against the norm, so I don't wanna do it now because 'cause I'm stubborn.
I did not tandem read, and I liked that decision. So you do
And
you.
which way are you doing it? Are you doing like Empire of Storms, then Tower of Dawn, or Tower of
Yeah,
Dawn and then
yeah.
Empire of Storms?
Empire of Storms
Yeah,
first because I've been told there's spoilers at the end of Tower of Dawn for the
yeah.
other book, so
Empire Storms. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's how I did
Mhm,
it as
mhm.
well. It's painful, but you'll be all right. You'll survive.
yeah, I think it would be more painful to do the tandem read because if you're doing the audiobook, I think they have versions on YouTube and stuff that have the tandem read, but I don't wanna have 2 books. I don't know. I just want to avoid that. But I think the reason people say to do the tandem read is because they don't like the fact that there's an entire book based on Chol.
About Joel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why.
But I will say it's like, especially now that we know kind of where the Crescent City world is, and like there are so many important world building Easter eggs in Tower of Dawn that like I'm to the point where I don't even I my official opinion is don't do the tandem read because you're gonna miss really important world building because there's even though it's about Chol,
Mhm.
lots of very important world building. So
Yeah,
it'll be
Yeah.
good. Focus on it, you know.
yeah.
And
That's
look, you
important.
can read these the wrong way around and you still get the most out of them. Like I read Crescent City 1 first because I hadn't read in like 10 years. I'd just gone through a Netflix, Game of Thrones phase. I just wasn't reading. And then I just stumbled upon that in the bookstore and it looked really great. And I read the blurb and I'm like, hey, fantasy, this is up my alley. I'm going to give it a try. So I read that, loved it. Then looked up Sarah J. Maas. Thought Throne of Glass was her biggest series. So then I went and did all of that. And then thought that ACOTAR was just like her extra series, like her less successful series. So I did that to finish. And anyway, I was never disappointed. Everything just got better and better as I went along. So
Okay, yeah.
So which do you like more, Empire of Storms or Mist and Fury? Mist and Fury.
we haven't done Empire of Storms officially yet, have you? So
Yeah,
you
I haven't
probably
read
haven't.
it. I haven't read Empire of Storms. I read Queen
Oh,
of
sorry.
Shadows.
Queen of Shadows is what I meant to say. Sorry,
I
my
like
brain.
Queen of
I'm on
Shadows.
pain meds, okay?
It's okay. I'm on coffee. It's fine. I like Queen of Shadows more because it's strictly fantasy. There's not a whole lot of
Mhm.
romance in it. Not that I hate romance, but it's just like really good world building. Love the characters. I don't know. I guess I would say I like Empire of Storms more, but also I have much more many books by the time I get to Queen of Shadows. In the other series, it was just ACOTAR and then straight into Mist and Fury.
Mist and Fury. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I would say probably
Yeah.
Queen of Shadows. Did I say Empire of Storms a second ago? Queen of Shadows is what I'm talking about.
You did,
Yeah.
but I messed you up.
My bad.
They all
Now
do
I'm all
sound
now I'm
similar.
all flustered. I don't even know what I'm saying.
And then which are you what do you think is better? The mass verse or are you more into the Iron Flame Fourth Wing?
Oh,
I mean, it's hard to compare, obviously,
yeah.
because there's only 2 books.
No,
but
one has dragons and one doesn't. Like,
Well, it's not like you can
well,
see the
one of them has
dragons. It's not like it has great CGI effects in it. But then again, the Throne of Glass has dragons in it too. Manon rides dragons. Well, they're wyvern, I guess. Same thing though. Aren't
yeah.
wyvern just
They're
dragons
they're
without
absolutely
arms?
not the same thing, but
They're just dragons without arms, right?
yeah.
That's all it is. They're like Timu dragons is what they are.
Exactly. Well, I think we basically found out they went back and looked at Game of Thrones and said, actually, none of these are dragons. They are all
No, they're
wyvern.
wyverns.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
very first episode of House of the Dragon, I was so mad because I care a lot about this. And my husband was like, Allie, nobody cares. I was like, I care.
Well, now we got to get into a debate about dragons and wyverns.
The reason I care is because of like how it is situated in fantasy historically. Dragons are typically good, wyverns are bad. And so and if it was an intentional choice to make the dragon's wyvern to sort of like play into that lore, fine. I just don't know that I trust that like the creators of House of the Dragon are like doing that many mind tricks with us. So
You know,
I care a lot about it.
you remind me of the person that says, "That's not a turtle, that's a tortoise." That's you right now. It's a
Yeah.
turtle,
Well,
okay? They look the same, okay? Their shells are different. It's a turtle. Well, tortoises live
metaphors,
longer and
man.
blah, blah,
They
blah.
matter to me. Well, my husband had a lot of fun making fun of me. He was like, nobody cares, really. But
Well, I
we
would
had a
say
lot of
devoted
conversations about
fans
it.
do care about details like that. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even, I'm not a huge, like, I've actually never read the Game of Thrones books, but I have read a lot of other fantasy, and it's more about just like how it's in conversation with other fantasy.
Yeah.
And George R. R. Martin himself criticized it. He was like, no, those are wyverns and they should be dragons. So he cares too.
Oh, well, I guess he didn't care enough to make them dragons for the show, though.
I don't know how much control he has, but maybe.
Yeah, I guess not a
I'm
lot.
just still waiting on that Winds of Winter.
Yeah, everybody is. I don't think he's going to make it. He made another book no one cared about. Hey, here's an introduction to the books. We don't care. Okay, write the last book.
All right. I want to get into the characters that you play in your Book Talk and Instagram, because you play a lot of our favorite Sarah J. Maas characters, particularly Cassian. How did this come about? Did you choose Cassian or did Cassian choose you?
That's a great question. I'll tell you what happened. My followers chose Cassian because at first I would make a video just about ACOTAR, and they would say things like, "Okay, Tamlin. Okay, Tamlin." I just saw that all the time in the freaking comments. "Okay, Tamlin, why are you talking?" Like, hey, I don't like this character. So eventually I just embraced it in a video and said, "All right, fine, I'll be Tamlin." And I walked into a field, I put a flower in my hair, and I was sneezing. I was being stupid, but I was pretending to be Tamlin. And then somebody commented, "Hey, this looks like Cassian pretending to be Tamlin." And I was like, "Ooh, I like that idea." So I just made a video of Cassian pretending to be Tamlin, and then here we are. That's exactly how it works. Yeah.
100,000 followers later,
Yeah.
here we are.
I mean, I was already gaining by then, but it definitely propelled it upwards. But I had no idea that I was going to freaking be Cassian or a character. I don't cosplay. I look like myself and I talk like this in videos. Oh, that's Cassian. Yeah, okay, that works. And even you,
That's why we
Nicole, in your Instagram story, you're like, he's such a Cassian, just him acting, and all these other people try to be Cassian, but he's just a Cassian. I'm thinking, hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's true.
What are your...
It's just, I mean, the hair is natural. It's, you know, you've got the, I know you got the vibes. It's the vibes thing. It's just, you know, they're the guys that are kind of there and they've got the muscles and they put their costume on with the, you know, the red things on the arms, and you're just like, yeah, nah, that's not like you're trying to be Cassian. Whereas you want to be yourself, you wear like a Star Wars t-shirt and then you'll just start talking. It's like, there's Cassian.
You can't try to be Cassian. Cassian would never try hard.
That's true. That's true. Because
thing.
I did do a video of me, like, because some people were talking about, oh, you're Cassian. So I did a video about, okay, this is me applying for the role of Cassian. And I just started rattling off some lines from the book. And then one of the comments said, oh, he's not even trying. That's exactly what Cassian would do. Okay. That makes sense. I get it.
Just accept it. Just accept it. The Bookstagram world loves you, and just roll with it. Roll wherever it goes.
They love me now. We'll see what happens in the next month or two. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see how long it lasts.
Just, you know, try and get SJM on speed dial and be like, you know, if any movies come up, I'm your guy. Like, just put it out there.
I think you should really put the ship wars to test and see if you come out in support of one ship war over another, if you can maintain your followers. You know, just if you just want to really embody that Cassian chaos, just be like, I'm so sold.
Have you heard of the ship wars?
Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
I'm assuming you're talking about like pirates. I'm kidding. I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
You're talking about relationships between two characters, right?
Yeah. Well,
Azriel in particular.
It's Azriel. It's
Oh,
Azriel.
yeah. I heard something about Azriel and Eris. Is that a thing?
A lot of people
I read
are
that
into
today.
it.
I think they're trying to impose that. I don't know if that's a real
There's
thing.
there's a lot of war going on currently in Book Talk and the Sarah J. Maas world because a
This
lot of
is
people
where
are predicting who Azriel is going to end up with. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that are going for Elaine. There's a lot of people going for Gwyn. There's
Yeah.
Azriel and Eris. There's Azriel and Bryce, which you probably haven't been introduced to yet.
No.
There's a lot of different characters, and it's pretty heated. It's pretty
Yeah.
heated. Everyone
is
that's
the
got their
bad
particular
part of
shipper.
I
Book
don't
Talk.
think Azriel's into dudes. I could be wrong. I mean, he had a thing for Moore for hundreds of years, but Moore played him for hundreds of years, even though she knew that she was into women, and that just made me so upset that that happened. You know what I'm talking about? Like, she could have said a long
Yeah.
time ago, "Hey, I'm not interested. I'm interested in not you at all, actually. Let me tell you." But she didn't do that. She told Feyre. I think that's the only person she told, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only person who knows. Well, and someone else in the Winter Court, I think, her friend.
Oh, the book that I hated so much that I didn't
can't
just
remember.
sped through it.
Yeah.
I want to read it again during Christmas and see if I get any sort of vibes from it. We'll see.
Frost and Starlight.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that one.
You won't get
Mhm.
any vibes.
Mhm.
It's just glorified epilogue. That's not
Yeah.
very good.
It's a
But
it's a cash
the
grab.
ship wars are where that, like, mostly Nicole and I have had great experiences on, I don't know, Nicole, speak for yourself, but I've never had bad experiences on Bookstagram other than like the random, weird American dude who finds my page and needs to comment on various things about me. But from Bookstagram itself, no issues. But the ship wars are where people will be really mean.
Are we talking
So-
about a specific person for you? There's one random American dude.
no. I'm just like a type,
Freaking
like
Tim,
a type.
Tim, stop commenting.
This random guy who lives in America. No, there's the type of guy that just feels the need to.
Gotcha.
What's the word? Like incel.
The
Is like
archetype.
the word.
Is it
The
archetype?
archetype of
That sounds like a fancy word. Let's go with it.
Yeah. Or is it? I can't remember the name. But other than that, I have had very good experiences there. But
like literally, if you put Gwyn reels and El reels, like the Elaine Azriel shippers with the Gwyn, like there is like literally a war. Like World War III will literally happen in front of you. Like they will start.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, people are gonna die.
Literally.
Maybe just throw books.
Figuratively.
Harsh words.
Yeah, so the idea of Azriel and Elaine just bores me to tears because I don't think there's any.
It's so boring.
There's no
Thank
depth
you.
to Elaine unless she writes the next book and Elaine is like this mysterious creature, or not creature, but character that she's just putting on a front, and then we get to see through her POV, and she's like crazy. That'd be cool, but it'd be a hard.
I want her to be
shift.
evil.
You want her to be evil?
Yeah, I think that I really want her to be like the Cauldron really made her go insane, and so she's a little evil, and she'll get redeemed, but I need something interesting.
Yeah,
but just like falling in love with Azriel and then like the perfectness of it, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, she is Lucian's mate, right?
Well, some people think that she's not,
but it says that in the book, right?
Yeah, but some people think that she's actually Tamlin's mate.
Fan theories. Fans ruin books is what they do.
Okay, but some people think that because Lucian has like the special eye and he can see things, when she comes out of the cauldron, Lucian sees that she's actually Tamlin's mate, so he claims her to cover for Tamlin. I don't buy it, but
speaking of the eye, I didn't the first, and I'm not alone in this. The first image that popped in my head when they mentioned the eye was Mad Eye Moody.
Mad Eye Moody. Yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't know it was just like a normal looking eye because it says it's eye word. Is that the word? Eye weird word?
Yeah.
All the time I just picture Mad Eye Moody's eye just going crazy.
Especially in the movie where it's like rolling around like crazy.
Yeah.
In that first scene where you see him.
Yeah. I don't see what people see in this character. He looks weird. In my head, he looks weird. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right now, it's very interesting. No, I agree with you. I sort of feel like I feel like Feyre and Nesta have both ended up with a Bat Boy. So I'm just like, to have that just be all of them end up with a sister is a bit boring. I kind of want something a bit different, a bit exciting for Az.
It's a bit predictable, to say the least.
Yep. Which is, I guess, where some of the other ships kind of kick in with Gwyn and some other characters that I can't talk to you about yet because that would be spoiling. But there is, fun times ahead.
Gwyn would be interesting because I like Gwyn. Gwyn's got a a past, and she's got some, I would like to uncover more about her character. I think she's got some more stuff, more than Elaine, who's deeper than a plate. I'm not interested in her.
Yeah. Okay. So, of all of the Massverse, who's your favorite FMC and who's your favorite MMC?
Just to be
So
clear,
far.
FMC is female main character, and then
Yes.
I'm still learning the
FMC.
lingo. Like, what?
I know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get down with that.
In the Moss,
You get like you Google out, you're like, what does FMC mean?
well, that's a great question. Let me think about. Okay, great. Of course. So the MMC I think would have to be Cassian, but only because people have compared me to him, and I have fallen in love with the character I have become in videos. So I don't think that's a real answer, but it has become my answer. Does that make sense? So him.
Yeah.
Female main character. I don't know. I really like Nesta. I shouldn't, but I also
Ooh.
do.
Oh, well, yeah, it does make
I
sense
like
if you're
that.
But
Cassian.
that could be me being Cassian still in my head, and like, are we recording a video right now? But so either her or maybe Aelin, who I like to call Alien Galifianakis, but her name is Aelin Galathinius. I really like her. I think she's a good character. But I also like Manon or Manon. Mama Manon.
Just not Feyre or Elaine.
Oh,
because nobody likes.
I can't do Feyre. She's just
Feyre drives me nuts.
No offense to anybody who's like a Feyre. I mean, I take it back.
I don't think anyone is really
anyone who's like a
obsessed
Feyre.
with Feyre.
She just seemed whiny, and I didn't like. So here's a shift that happened in the ACOTAR series. When you go from a court of, let's just not talk about the Snowflake book, but the Court of Wings and Ruin to a court of Silver Flames, you get to see through other people's POVs and not just Feyre's. And then you get to see that her and Rhysand, they're not all that great. You know what I mean? So I think she saw Rhysand through rose-colored glasses, and we fell in love with him because she fell in love with him. We had to fall in love with him because she wrote about it that way. But then you go to Nesta's POV or Cassian's, and you get to see him in a different light. So
yeah,
I don't know. Feyre just comes across as whiny.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty widely held opinion.
Is it? I'm not gonna get
world.
removed from book talk for saying that.
No, and it's interesting what you say too about Rhys, because we had one discussion a while back where we said, you know, Rhys in the recent books hasn't been that likable. Like first couple of books, you're like, oh my God, Rhysand's the best. I love Rhysand. Yeah. He can be my book boyfriend. But then in like Silver Flame and beyond, you're kind of like, you know, he's kind of acting like a douche. And whoa, did we make Bookstagram angry? Like they were not happy. They were like, do not diss. But a few people agreed. They were like, yeah, he's like, we're seeing a really different side to him. So
it's also just fun to debate with people online in a fun way. You may have gotten real hatred. I don't know. Maybe I take that back.
No.
People came to my house and they wrote me letters.
No, we love having we have a lot of debates in our comment sections and DMs. All fun.
Yeah, we keep it fun.
All fun.
Yeah.
Except for that one random American guy who comments on all your stuff.
Except for Tim. Yeah.
Except for Tim. Freaking Tim. It's always Tim.
Jerk. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to have no followers after this thing airs, after everybody listens to my real opinions.
That was actually our goal. We were like, you know,
this is all a setup. Just a mock interview, but the whole tactic is just to take me down.
We're just going to post clips where you're like, you know, Feyre sucks.
Apparently Steven doesn't respect women. What? That's not what I said. I said I like Feyre.
Feyre's the best. I love her so much. What were you talking about? No, and I love Nesta. I like, she's a really, like, people either love her or hate her. It's like, because she's obviously someone that people don't like, but seeing that growth that she has, like, and I think just knowing that she's come from this complicated place where everyone does hate her, and she's just kind of accepted that. She's like, well, everyone hates me. I'm just going to be hateable. And takes someone like Cassian to get through that big wall that she has up to, like, break that down and find her softer side. And,
that makes sense. That's probably why she's one of my favorites, because you get to see that growth. And there's an interesting part that happens in Silver Flames where she's been banished by Rhysand and she's in the forest or wherever she's in the woods with Cassian, and she has this realization of everything going on, and Cassian's there with her and he's just helping her along the way, and she breaks down, and then she ends up going to some sort of church-like thing with what's Gwen? Is it Gwen? Takes her,
Mhm.
and then she has the
Yeah.
realization of the last Horcrux or whatever the hell they're looking for. But
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but it was something
The Dread Trove.
Dread Trove. Yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was Horcrux.
Yeah,
I
is it
think
Horcrux?
so.
They're all Infinity Stone. Pick something. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Pick
I
those, yeah.
identify with her in that sense because I've had self-hatred that I've dealt with my whole life, and I've had to overcome that. I have good days and bad days, but I mean, I should be able to identify with males in the book, but I don't have wings. Okay, I'm not super tall and buff, so I can't really. I identify more with the female in the book than I do any of the men. I cannot live up to any of these male characters in these freaking books, but mentally, maybe not. That's wishful thinking at this point.
Do you have any favorite side characters? Do you have any side characters that are your favorite?
In the Mossverse,
Maybe mainly Mossverse, so you can talk about other fantasy books and that as well.
I mean,
if you've got others that you're
if we go on another
obsessed with.
fantasy book tangent, we'll just probably steer away.
No,
We'll never
go there.
talk.
We
Yeah.
love the good tangent on this show. So
I mean,
go
we can
for
talk
it.
about some of the books that I like here in a minute, but side characters in the. You said Mass. Is it Mass or Moss? I've been saying Moss.
Oh, that's probably my Aussie accent. I think it's.
I
is it
actually
Moss?
say mass as well, but I have no idea what's right. I
I mean,
always
it's
say
two
moss.
A's.
Yeah,
That's-
it might be moss.
I don't know. I just say Moss because it
Used to
sounds
say.
better. In my head, it makes me sound smarter, but maybe not.
Moss.
Maybe I'm the problem. Side characters. I'm trying to think of some of the side characters now. I guess I like Gwen. Gwen's a good side character.
Mhm.
The Surreal is a good side character. But is
Yeah,
that a side
Interesting
character?
character. Like who would think of that?
I think he's a
Weaver.
side character.
Yeah.
I think he counts. I think he's important in all three books.
Or the Rumpelstiltskin character. Who's that? That chick that had her house burned down?
The Weaver.
The Weaver. There we go.
Weaver.
I call her I call her Rumpelspinskin because
She's kind of.
she's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Interesting character.
I kind of think of the Surreal as being more Rumpelstiltskin, but it goes both ways. Yeah.
Isn't it just
I
like
know. I envision him being this like really scary, freaky looking thing.
the Surreal is basically just an ugly gossiper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 In our
Like
like
a ghoulish
group chat, we have
gossiper.
a Massverse group chat, and they're always joking that I'm the Surreal. They're like, because Allie just loves tea and drama. Because I'm always just like, I want Elaine to be evil. I want these two characters to be together just because I want it. I want gossip and drama.
Well, I don't want to compare you to the Surreal because I just called the Surreal ugly, and you're not ugly, so I don't want to be on record saying that.
Monster
I'm
with, like,
really okay with
skull
it.
and,
I'm
like,
really okay.
That's
being
not
the
true.
Surreal,
You're not ugly. Okay, so you're not the Surreal. So there. Other side characters. I'm trying to think.
There's like Alien. Well, I mean, Dorian's really more of a main character, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause
I
there's always
really
kind of
like Dorian. Dorian's a really cool character. He may be one of my favorite male. He may be my favorite male character now that I think about it, other than Cassian. I like him a lot because he has the character growth. And then, oh man, in Queen of Shadows, when he is dark, spoilers, when he has the demon thing and he's using his body, great.
Mhm.
Great. It made me sad.
Yeah.
And then at the end where he gets redeemed or whatever, it's just interesting plot twist. But I like him a lot.
And tell us about books that are not Moss. Your other favorite fantasy books that like you love that, you know, and some of the characters from them. You obviously love Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Any others? You sort of also into like Lord of the Rings, all those ones, or are there other books that we don't know about?
I've only read Lord of the Rings in junior high, I think, for school. I've never read them as an adult, but I love the movies.
For school, eh?
So there's a series I really like. V.E. Schwab. Do y'all know who that is?
Oh my god, I have like a whole shelf dedicated to her.
Yeah,
She's
I
one of
like
my favorites.
her. She's got really good writing. I like the way she writes. I like
She's
The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. That one has mixed reviews because it's kind of dull in places, but I really enjoyed it.
I'm a big Addie LaRue stan.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite books I've ever read. Yeah, it's really good.
One of my favorites.
But I get why people don't like it. But
yeah, because it's slow in certain places. But I also like that because it goes back in time and it flips back and forth, and that's confusing to some people. One of my favorite series is by her actually, and it's the Shades of Magic trilogy. It's great.
Yeah,
Love that.
Yeah. Have you read the newest one?
I haven't.
The kind of companion Fragile Threads.
I have the book, but I haven't read it yet because I'm doing other things. But I'm looking forward to it. I bought it. I didn't even know it came out. I was walking through Target, as a basic girl does. I was walking through Target. I went through the book section and I saw that. I was like, oh, I didn't know she wrote another one. So I bought it and haven't read it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you're right in the middle of Sarah J. Maas, it's pretty hard to pull up anything else. You just got a stack of books this big, that you're trying to get through.
I'm really her newest book that she has coming out soon. I don't know that the title is out yet, but she keeps describing it as spooky lesbian vampires. And I'm like, I can get behind that. I'm excited for that.
Spooky lesbian vampires. Man.
Yeah. So I have no idea what it's going to be about, but she's just like, oh yeah, like, because I follow on her on Instagram, she's always talking about her
vampires.
She's like, oh yeah, I'm working on the lesbian vampire work.
Sounds like it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Get it? Because it's vampire. Okay, no. All right.
All right. I want to change course quickly. Okay, you said you loved Fourth Wing Iron Flame, and obviously Onyx Storm is coming out January next year. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have any predictions? Do you know a lot of people have theories around it? What do you think's going to happen? What's going to happen to Xaden? Like, let's talk about that for a moment.
It depends on what the author is okay with doing. I think if she kills him, you're going to have a lot of angry women. Just letting you know. You're going to be hated for a while. But
I think Rebecca Yarros is okay with doing anything, just based on her other books.
Well, she's kind of got, like, the series has a throne of, what is it called? Not Throne of Glass. Game of Thrones feel, in that she's okay with just killing people, which I like.
Yeah.
It's not predictable. It's not very predictable. I don't know. The cliffhanger for Iron Flame was one. I did see that coming, though. I saw that coming from a mile away. I was like, he's gonna turn into a White Walker or whatever the hell he is. But I don't really have any predictions. I assume that he's going to be okay somehow. Love will win out, or maybe somebody have to sacrifice himself, because she kills off characters.
I'm just wondering.
Liam's death
There you go.
was one of the saddest things I've read in a long time.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And then go ahead.
And then she brings like Jack Barlow back. How many times from the dead? But
He's like
no.
cockroach.
Every time she's interviewed, she's like, oh no, Liam can't come back. Like, some people die in war, and that's what happens. It's like, really?
And she's like, and dead characters are dead in my writing. And I'm like, okay, except for Jack fucking Barlow.
Yep.
Who's never dead.
Well, he's a cockroach. But so Liam did come back in book 2, but he came back as a spirit. And that was one of the most interesting parts of that book to me, when she was getting tortured and he was there. Mm-hmm. We should have said spoiler alert to this book too. My bad. But she was getting tortured. Put
it in the episode notes. Don't worry.
Okay. Y'all will take the hit for it then. I'm just over here being a fun spirit.
We'll give people the spoiler alert.
So whenever she was getting tortured and then Liam shows up, I'm like, man, this is so interesting. This is a great part of the story. And that's also when I started admiring Violet Sorrengail, or as I like to call her, Violin, because she whines a lot. Because the whole first book, she was just whiny, but she was a good character. She wasn't necessarily a Feyre, but she was kind of whiny. And then she started winning me over in the second book, because she is a good leader and she's a strong person. And I ended up liking her. But especially when she was getting tortured and she never broke, I was like, come on, I would break instantly. So you're stronger than me. Yeah.
I think Nicole and I often get very annoyed that, like, me especially, that these 20-year-olds can save the world, because I'm like, I couldn't do anything at 20 years old.
And just the whole miscommunication trope with Xaden for ages. Like, I'm not talking to you because I'm angry at you because you keep going away. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, freaking PTSD from high school relationships all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like Iron Flame as much as Fourth Wing, because I feel like by Iron Flame, I'm like, I cannot keep dealing with you guys just like being mad at each other because you're not talking. Like, I just can't.
Well, the reason I like Iron Flame more than Fourth Wing is because it was a lot more world building and a lot more fantasy elements. And I think the reason people don't like it is because it was too much fantasy rather than a good mixture of fantasy and romance. And people that read these romantasy books are really reading for spice. Most of the time reading for spice and the love interest and stuff like that. And they don't really want to go into war planning and details like that. And there's a lot of fantasy. It's a good fantasy series.
Yeah, exactly. The whole world expands in Iron Flame. Like, you get outside Navarre and then like the whole what's going on, which was pretty exciting for all of us fantasy lovers.
Yeah.
What do you have an opinion on Violet's second signet? Do you have any thoughts on what that might be?
Okay, I'm confused on that one, because I thought she had, was it lightning was one of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought she could freeze tag, or she could freeze people. That wasn't her signet. Remember when she did that? She froze everybody and then she killed Xaden killed
That was
everybody.
just through Andarna. Like that was
Oh
just
yeah. Her, like
Andarna.
infancy, like her baby power, like because
Okay.
Yeah.
Indana was
So
a
like
baby.
dragons kind of have a signet when they're babies before they get big.
Ooh.
So that was not her second.
So they don't have a signet when they get big?
They do,
No,
but
they
like
just have
hasn't
a
kicked
power.
in properly yet. It was like
What-
that
No,
was
no,
a
no.
baby.
The dragons don't have a signet. The dragons don't have like special power. They just have a lot.
I was
They
gonna say,
just
like,
have
what
power.
is Tyron's
No, he doesn't have like a special power.
so they have a special power? Just being a
No,
dragon
just
wyvern
babies have
thing? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
So I don't know then.
so that's
I don't know.
but it could like we were told that it's through Andarna, but that could not be true.
Okay. I thought that was her signet, but then I was listening to something and they were talking about what's her second signet. I'm like, am I missing something here? I thought it was like she could put everybody in freeze tag. I guess she can't. Maybe that's not her signet, but she has lightning. I don't know. I haven't read anything that proves that she has another one that's available right now. I don't know.
I know.
What do y'all
Well,
think?
Rebecca Garros has confirmed that it was in Iron Flame, but she won't tell us like what moment it was. So some people
How
are predicting
convenient.
that it's seeing the dead, like how she saw Liam. Some people are saying distance
Ooh.
wielding. Other people are saying like what else? What else was there? Ali, you had a great theory on this
Well,
one.
I think she can like see through other people's perspectives or like be in their head. So it's a version. I think it has to be a version of what's the name for what Xaden has that everyone's afraid of?
Oh my God.
I
No.
can't think of it.
Doesn't he have shadows?
Yeah, like some version of some like a mind power that people are all
Oh,
afraid
yeah,
of. But
yeah.
it
If
was
they
different
found
from
out,
his.
he would be killed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
'cause
So
it's
I think
illegal.
I think it has to be that because of how she reacted to him having some kind of mind power.
He can read
And I think
intentions. That's what it is.
he reads intentions. Yeah. But I think all of those dreams that she was having were actually Xaden's dreams, and she was sort of like in his dream. So she's either like dream walking or kind of getting into his mind, into his perspective. That's what I think. But lots of people have lots of opinions,
Well,
and
I feel like if she was able to read his mind or something like that, they would not have bickered so much.
well, she doesn't know that she can do it.
Oh,
That's
it's just okay. So she hasn't tapped
and the
into it
signet
yet.
is supposed to be something that they need.
Oh,
What does she need? To know what the hell's going on with him so they can stop fighting.
well, you never want to. Maybe. What do you think, Nicole?
I like the idea of the distance wielding. I do think that like her first signet is all power, like the lightning is like, it's physical power. So I like to think her second signet's going to be something of the mind. And I think she might even have the ability to kind of travel in time. I've even got a theory that, when she saw Liam there, that might actually be herself and she's gone back in time because she knew in that moment she couldn't break. And she's like, well, I'll go as Liam to like keep myself from like giving it away because yeah, I feel like that moment, I know, it's just like the random over the top theory, but like she would have known that in that moment she was going to break and she's like, I can't break. And if she had the power to go back and forth in time and maybe like be who someone needs to see in that moment. And I don't know, it's just that was a really interesting moment. She kept saying, oh, I'm just hallucinating here. I'm just hallucinating. And I feel like when they say that, it's instantly the opposite. Like, so.
Yeah, she's in like
That's why I
denial.
have that theory. Yeah.
Maybe she can talk to spirits. That sounds very reasonable. Not that she came back as a dude, but from back in time as wearing the Liam costume. Maybe. I don't want to make fun of your theory here.
It'd be very convenient.
I want to shit all over your theory.
Hey, if I'm right, I'll be proud of it.
Well, here's the thing about authors. They're in a good place if they have a series that they haven't finished, that they haven't written the ending. They can just go off of fan theories and pick their favorite one and incorporate that.
Pick their favorite one.
I bet they do.
Honestly,
I'm sure they do.
It's normally, well, it's probably a better idea because the fans come up with great ideas and then sometimes the actual truth comes out and it's like, that's the worst. Like the Matrix trilogy, like the third one was just bad. It was like, sorry, that's probably from forever ago, but like the fan theories were so good and then the actual movie came out and it was just like not good at all. But
yeah.
How about the brand newest Matrix?
Oh,
sorry, say that again.
The newest Matrix, the horrible Matrix, with where they came back to life, and then it was just like a Disney movie.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was like an entertaining movie. My husband hated it, but I liked it.
You can be wrong. It's fine.
I think the prequels of Star Wars are better than the original trilogy, so I have like very weird opinions.
They have better CGI, I'll give it that.
It's not about the CGI, it's about the plot and the politics. The political intrigue in the prequels is like so much more interesting to me than anything going on in the original trilogy.
What about
Jar Jar
the
Binks
latest
needs
Star
to go
Wars?
die a horrible death, though. Like
what?
Well, now that you
I'm-
said that, my favorite character as a kid when that movie came out was Jar Jar Binks. I'm Jar Jar Binks. I'd run around the house with just fake ears. It's hilarious.
I feel like it's all silly. I feel like it's all silly. So then, like, what I care about is like the general plot and the world building because I'm such a fantasy person, and I feel like the world building is better in the prequels. But I know that other people do not share that opinion.
Yeah, well, mostly the people that are nostalgic that find the what was it, the 70s where they were made, those ones, they're nostalgic for them and they don't like anything in messing
Anything
with
else.
that. What was that movie called with now that we're on Star Wars? The prequel to the first trilogy that came out recently.
Rogue One.
That was such a good movie.
So
That
Rogue
was-
One is
yes,
so good.
that was great.
I think it's my favorite of all the
amazing.
Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And then also what was good was Andor, which came out, which
Love
was kind of
Andor.
a part of that world. And that's probably been the best Star Wars kind of series I think has been out recently. That was so good.
I think Andor's fantastic.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can go watch
I
it.
don't,
It's
I
a
don't
part
watch
that
a lot of
Rogue One.
TV though.
It's tough to find the time to like read and watch
Yeah.
TV and have a job and live your life and
Yeah.
be a good partner and clean the house and all those things all at once.
I do none of those things though. I'm kidding. No, that's true. I mainly just watch YouTube if I'm watching anything or stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy.
Ooh, do you have any favorite comedians? Anyone that you love to watch or listen to?
My favorite comedian of all time is probably Brian Regan.
Ooh.
I don't know who
You know
that
that
is.
is?
I know that one.
Well,
No.
there's somebody
No.
to look up, Brian Regan. I also like Nate Bargatze. He's hilarious. I like Bill Burr.
Mhm.
I know
Oh,
some
yeah.
of these are going to get me in trouble, but I like Louis C.K. He's dark and very
Mhm.
gross in his comedy, but I think he's funny. Mark Norman is another funny one. I don't know. I watch a bunch of different ones. I don't like a lot of modern stand-up comedy though, because it's not funny to me. I have a weird comedic niche.
You got to go back.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of this stuff is generic comedy to me. So, and most of the videos I post don't even make me laugh. I'm like, how is this funny? How are people laughing at these videos? But they are, so I'll just keep doing that.
In truth, we're so desperate for any guy to like read our books that when they do, we're like, oh my god,
That's what it is.
thank
That's
you.
what it is.
That's all it actually is.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's reading the book. Look, honey, come here and look. He's so handsome too. Wait, what? Why'd you say that? That's another thing. I can get away with some of the videos because I have long hair and a beard. If I had if I was balding and had no beard and just had a weird face, I probably wouldn't be able to make any of these videos.
Yeah. The hair is an important part of
Maybe
the
not the like playing the characters, but I think that people would still be excited for anyone to be engaged seriously with the books that
We'll say
we
less
like,
excited then. How about that?
maybe less excited. Yeah, maybe less excited. All right. Should we move on to some of our Cassian and Azriel questions?
Sure,
Nicole?
if you want to. How are we going to
Well,
do that?
Do you have
All right.
any last questions? In the
All right.
kind of,
Well.
I think we were going to spend like 30 minutes on this section, and now we spent an hour. So,
Yeah, we get excited. All right. Well, we better
Hey,
get
I've had a
even
good
ready
time so far.
because would you like to, so what we'll do is maybe enter the world of Cassian if you want to do that. We'll obviously ask the Cassian questions first and maybe the Azriel so you can fully get into character and then ask you a few questions. Thank you so much for agreeing to play or be the Cassian and Az.
Yeah, thanks for paying me to be here. Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, guys, we are super excited to introduce you. We've got a very special guest today who has come along, Cassian, Lord of Bloodshed. Thank you so much for joining us. Did you want to just maybe introduce yourself, your name, your age, and if you're an animal, what would you be and why?
Sure, yeah. Name is Cassian. My age is 500, give or take a couple. You know what I mean? Animal. Ooh. I'm happy with what I am now. You know what I mean?
What, like bat wings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nesta calls me an animal, but that's for different reasons.
And what is it that you do in the night court? What is your title?
I mean, it's hard to say what I do in the night court because I believe that I am the night court. So what do you know what I mean? Like, what does somebody do that is? I just do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Tell us the most embarrassing thing you know about Azriel.
I'll say this: he has the smallest wingspan. Loser. Other than that,
I think that's objectively not true.
I
Right?
don't agree with that at all,
You
personally.
don't agree with objective measurements.
Well, have you measured him?
No, I haven't. To be fair.
I haven't either, but I hear it's the smallest.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty embarrassing. Also,
And if
he's not very good with the ladies. I've tried to teach him a thing or two, but he's weird. Did you know that? Have you ever hung out with Azriel? He's a good guy. He's just weird, but we love him.
he does, there is a certain essence about him that is a little off
Dark,
at times.
scary shadows.
Yeah.
Not things
It's nice
us
to be with
girls like at all.
like-minded individuals such as yourselves for this.
If you could be anyone else from Prithian for one day, who would you be and why? Would it be Azriel or someone else?
Well, there's a saying here in the night court, here in Prithian, if you will. Whatever the cauldron perfects, you shouldn't neglects. In other words, I'm perfect, so I would not want to be anybody else.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah. Many of us would agree to be who you are. Yeah.
Amen. Or a cauldron.
So who has won? Because it's a bit, who has won the most snowball fights between you, Rhysand, and Azriel? Can you give us the definite take on that?
Me. They call me Snowball Johnny. Okay, it's just always me. I'm pretty good. They call me the Lord of Bloodshed too, but I'm also pretty active with the snowballs.
I thought Nesta said that you haven't won in years.
Nesta's drunk right now, so don't listen to her. Okay, she's on the fairy wine. It's okay. It's gonna be great later, but right now, don't listen to her.
Other than snowball fights, what do you think is the ultimate superpower?
Having the biggest wingspan.
You're really focused on that.
You know, it's just. Yes, I am.
Don't they say it's a bit like, like guys that don't have a really big car or something to make up for it, that sort of thing. So
what is a car? You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting. Okay, Cassian, what is your favorite season? Summer, autumn, winter, or spring?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about food seasoning. I went to the autumn court the other day, and I had a nice pumpkin spice latte, carved a few pumpkins. That was a very nice time. So I might say autumn. My least favorite season is spring. So every time I go to the spring court, I don't know what they put in the air other than hatred, but it messes. I have to shove things in my nose, wear something on my eyes. I'm going to die. I'm going to die every time I go to the spring court. So that's my least favorite, at least.
So you're not a fan of flowers, roses?
No. No.
You've never gotten flowers for Nesta?
Yes.
That seems like that's a lie. What's your favorite thing to do when you're not working or being the Lord of Bloodshed?
Nesta.
Well, predictable.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to work out? Perhaps?
Oh, yeah. I like to train.
Work on those Valkyries.
I like to wake up, do about 1,500 push-ups, do some sit-ups, same quantity, pull-ups, same quantity. And that's my warm-up. Then I'll go fly laps. Training. I'm usually always training. I'm also eating brown rice and chicken.
Up and down the 10,000 steps that she does.
I don't like stairs. I don't like stairs very much because I have wings, but I admire her tenacity.
What are your thoughts on Azriel's love life? Do you care to comment?
What love life? Am I right?
Have you seen in training or around the night court any sparks of romance vibes with anyone in Az? When he's training those Valkyrie or
I see him looking
Elaine.
I see him looking at me every now and then, but I don't. Yeah, we're just friends. It's fine. Yeah, okay. Other than that, no, I don't know. He's really focused. I'll give him that. He's a focused guy. So I don't see him looking at too many people. Yeah.
So
he's kind of
mysterious.
Yeah, he's mysterious. He lurks a lot. He likes to lurk Like, what are you doing, Maz? I'm lurking. So I don't see a whole lot of romance
No.
sparking
He
up during
says that?
training. Lurks?
He says that. He says, "I'm lurking."
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
Don't quote me,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure he said that once or never.
I feel like the girls just naturally gravitate to that though. Like it's so mysterious and attractive, and he's just got those muscles and that huge wingspan, and it's just like he doesn't need to say anything. It's just you're just drawn to him.
Are you drawn to him?
Yes.
Well, I mean, some people can be wrong with who they admire and who they think is attractive. It's fine.
I just think that, I wouldn't want to be drawn to anyone else because Azriel's, he doesn't have like a mate who's gonna kill me. Like your mate might kill me.
No, she'll kill you with kindness. That kindness looks a lot like hatred most days, but I think it's kindness.
Most days. Okay. Let's change the subject because I'm a little afraid of Nesta, so I want to change the subject. You're stuck on a desert island and can only bring three things. What are you bringing and why?
Nesta, alcohol, and a headboard.
That will be a fun time. I mean, you won't have any water or food, so you're not going to last a long time, but...
I mean, I can winnow. No one think about this? I can winnow off the island. Did you take away my winnow powers?
Or you could fly off the island.
Oh, yeah.
For someone obsessed with wingspans. So I can't believe you didn't think of that.
I did. I was just testing you. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Who's the strongest member of the Night Court other than you?
Oh, I was going to say me, and you saw that coming, didn't you? Okay.
I knew it. I saw it coming from a mile away.
Fine. Who is like me is the real question. Who's not as good as me, but kind of close? Let's say, probably Azriel. No.
Why would that be?
Well, because he's my friend. And I think that he has, we train a lot, and I see his strength. He's not even close to me, you know what I mean? But he's second best.
What about Rhysand though? Because Rhysand's got all those mind powers.
Rhysand is overrated. Come on, he doesn't fight. He makes me fight. I'm called the Lord of Bloodshed. He's spending too much time with Feyre and their new bat baby. He's a stay-at-home father now. He's not gonna go fight people. Come on.
What is a surprising thing people don't know about you?
I mean, I think everybody knows that I'm pretty much perfect.
Well, what do we know? We know you maybe have the second biggest wingspan, that you are a lot of bloodshed, that you really annoy Nesta most of the time, but she tolerates you. What else do we know, Ellie?
I think that's... Is there anything else? Is there much else?
I mean, just whatever is, I'm the best at it. You know what I mean? I played pickleball the other day for the first time. Didn't even know that existed. Won instantly. Best at it.
Were you playing against Nyx, Rhys and Feyre's kid? Is that how you won pickleball? So you were playing against Nyx?
Is not an important detail. I will say that much. Okay.
Okay. Finish this sentence. There was this one time at Rita's.
What happens at Rita's stays at Rita's, my friend.
What is one piece of romantic advice you have given to Azriel to help snag himself a mate?
I told him the other day to stop being weird, and he got mad at me and walked away. So I don't think he's helpable. I can't help him. I also told him, it's the headboard is important as well. You want a good sturdy headboard, but I don't even know if he's going to get to that point.
So we're going to give you some names, and you just share the first thing that comes to your head. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rhysand.
Overrated.
Feyre.
Oh, she's a good decorating partner, I'll say that much.
Amren.
Weird. Kind of creepy. A little scared of her, to be honest with you.
More
what? Oh, the name. Morgan. Good times. Am I right?
Elaine.
Boring. All she wants to do is stare out a window. I at least wanted her to knit a sweater, do something of value, but no, she's just she's boring.
Do gardening now, right? Isn't the garden really nice out there now?
I think you have to grow something to be considered a gardener. She just plays with
But then
dirt.
do you ever go out in that garden? Like, you probably don't like her because she's like planting flowers and stuff and making you allergic to the night court.
I stay away from gardens. And
What about Eris? What do you think of him? What comes to mind?
I think he's gay, and he won't admit it. And I really want him to be happy.
What do you think of Gwyn?
She's a good trainer. Not trainer. She trains well. She's got some moves. I try to keep my distance because one time I looked at her wrong and Nesta punched me in the face. So I try to stay away from her.
Smart.
And on that note, what comes to mind when you think of Nesta?
Smash.
Tamlin?
Isn't he like a full-time furry now? What is he even doing? I don't even know. He's just in the woods playing sheepdog. So, I mean, he could, whatever. He's angry too much. Just be happy, bro. Life is short. Unless you're me. I'm 500 and I haven't aged a day. So I take that back. Life is not short.
And Bryaxis.
Oh. Don't say that name. Okay.
Okay. Is the interview over now because we brought up Bryaxis?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
I mean, it's a really important character, though. Like, a lot happens in Silver Flame that, like, we need to talk about. Like,
I enjoy the fact that you're going to talk about that. I am going to bounce.
Isn't he, like, out on the loose now and stuff? Like, is that kind of scary for you?
He? I don't know. I just know that I don't want to be a part of that entity.
Well, thanks, Cassian. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What are you going to do the rest of your day?
I don't know. I may go train. I got a couple 1,000 push-ups I got to do again. I don't know.
Well, good luck with that.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you next time. We're going to go interview Az now and just get his take on all this stuff as well, just to confirm that you're actually being accurate.
Whatever he says may not be true. Okay?
He does. He has a dagger named Truth Teller.
Yeah, that's the dagger. He's not the truth teller. He has to have a dagger that tells the truth.
Yeah.
Just Mr. Can't get the info right, as we like to call. No one. Yep, we like to call him that. No one calls him that. I call him that. I don't call him that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time. Okay, girls. I'm going to be calm. I'm not going to be too fangirly here. We've got Azriel. We've got Azriel here at the podcast. Hi, Az. Hi. My name's Nicole. I just want to introduce myself. Huge fan. Love your work.
Hello.
So we just wanted you to introduce yourself, your name, your age. If you're an animal, what animal would you be?
My name is Azriel. I am young enough looking to party, but old enough to know better. I think my favorite animal would be a crow.
Is there any reason it would be a crow over like a dolphin or something?
Because the crow reminds me of night. And I'm not a fan of water, so dolphins are out.
What is it that you do in the night court? What's your title?
I lurk in the shadows. And I gather intel to weaken our opponents. And I also have a very beautiful singing voice.
And that's your official title?
My title is Spy Master. My title is the Shadow Singer or the Spy Master.
Oh, okay.
Tell us the most embarrassing thing you know about Cassian.
He cannot dance. And he has the smallest wingspan.
He told us he has the biggest.
Cassian says a lot of things that aren't true, but we love him for some reason.
If you could be anyone else from Prithian for one day, who would you be and why?
I would probably be Cassian, and I would humble him.
And how would you humble him? By being him?
Because if I was him, he'd have to be somebody else, and then he would see himself for the first time.
I see. Yeah, that's
insightful.
Yeah.
Deep.
Rather deep indeed, yes.
And who do you feel like has won the most snowball fights? I know this is a big tradition amongst you and your friends.
Certainly. The answer is Rhysand, but only because he makes us
He makes you lose.
Yes.
Wow. How does he do that?
Because he's the High Lord.
Okay.
see.
And
So
and Cassian also told us that he has won the most snowball fights.
I think Cassian believes he's won the most snowball fights.
okay, what is the ultimate superpower, would you say?
To know what is right and then to do it.
Wow.
And what is
when you spend many nights like I have in the shadows, you learn. Sorry.
What's your favorite thing to do when you aren't working or being the ultimate spy master and spending nights in the shadows? What else do you do?
I like contemplating existence and karaoke.
Karaoke. That's an interesting choice.
Certainly. Karaoke at night, to be exact.
I see. Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
I'm sorry, that information is private.
And do you do
Yeah.
that like at Rita's, or is there somewhere in Prithian that you go to for karaoke, or do you just do that like alone in the shadows?
Feyre bought me a karaoke machine for solstice, so I keep it at the House of Wind.
What is your favorite season? Summer, autumn, winter, or spring?
Winter. Because the days are shorter and the nights are longer and it's cold.
You like that because you've got someone to cozy up with on those cold winter's nights, Azriel?
No.
It is. Fans really care about your love life. Is there any updates you can give them? Anything you care to comment on?
No comment.
How's the training going with those Valkyries? Is there any updates there?
I think everyone has potential, except for some of them.
Anyone except for some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
What about Gwyn? How's she doing?
Gwyn has much. Yes.
Yes.
And we heard that there was maybe a little bit of drama between with Gwen and Elaine, something about a necklace. Care to share any details?
Who told you
or
this?
updates on that?
Did Cassian say this?
We're trying to share our contacts. That's
It's just
secret.
Yeah. Everyone just kind of knows.
Confidentiality.
It seems you are more in the shadows than I am currently. I will say no comment to that then.
We take our job really seriously as journalists.
I appreciate that. That is a valuable aspect.
How's Elaine doing?
Fine.
Have you seen her recently?
Yes. No.
Yes or no?
No.
Yes, you have seen her, or no, you haven't?
I have not have not seen her, Elaine.
Okay.
Right. I feel like we're not going to get any more there, so we'll just change the subject maybe. You're stuck on a desert island and you can only take 3 things. What are you going to bring with you and why?
2 knives and the ability to winnow.
The shadow powers you've got, are they kind of helpful when you're like on a deserted island by yourself? Like, I don't know, what's that like for you, those shadow powers? Is that, a lot of girls really love shadow powers.
I would much prefer the island of solitude. I would just like the ability to winnow to and from it at my own leisure.
Is there anything surprising that people don't know about you that they'd be surprised to learn?
I have the world's most beautiful smile.
Oh, care to share? Care to show us that smile?
No.
Is that something that Elaine told you or Gwen?
I don't want to give out my sources.
Sure.
Would you call yourself a hugger, Azriel? You like a hugger or a hand holder? How do you feel about touch in general? Do you like people giving you a hug?
I admire a distant wave. personally.
But you wouldn't just hold someone's hand that you had never met before?
I don't see a moment in time where that would be appropriate.
I see.
Wow. Interesting. Who is the strongest member of the Night Court gang?
Probably Cassian. He is, after all, the Lord of Bloodshed.
He said that. That was how he answered that question as well.
Well, I would like
It's
it to
pretty
go on
confident.
record. That's probably the only true thing he told you.
Finish this sentence. There was this one time at Rita's.
Cassian danced naked on a table.
Did he?
Yes.
Was Nesta there?
Yes. If my memory is correct, she may have been the one that told him to do it.
That sounds like Nesta.
What is one piece of romance advice that Cassian has tried to give you?
When he starts talking about those things, I tend to walk away. One thing he said recently was, stop being weird. And I told him, well, I didn't say anything. I walked away. And I continued my lurking.
Because that's not weird at all.
It's not weird if you know what you're doing.
How's that working for you so far with the ladies, that strategy, lurking and watching from the shadows? Is that helping or not really helping?
No comment.
We are really keen to just understand your relationships, your friendships, your more than friendships. So we're going to give you some names and just share the first thing that comes to your head. All right?
Okay.
Resand.
Brother.
Feyre.
Sister.
Nesta.
Bitch.
Amryn.
Like-minded.
More.
Missed opportunity.
Care to elaborate?
No.
Elaine.
Kill Lucian.
Like you want to kill Lucian?
What?
Or you think Elaine is going to kill Lucian?
Sure.
You said kill Lucian.
Yes, Elaine will. What?
I feel like we need to. We're going to have to probably tell Lucian that you said that.
That's fine. I think I meant it in a different way. It's lingo that only exists in Perithian. He'll understand.
Oh, okay. What about Eris?
Interesting.
Does the name Bryce mean anything to you?
I think it's a lovely name.
Yeah. Gwyn. Is that a lovely name?
I do tend to lean toward one-syllable names, so certainly.
And what about Tamlin?
Nuisance.
Well, Azriel, those are all the questions we have for you. Is there anything else you want to share with the listeners back home?
No.
All right. Well, thanks for your time. Nicole, do you have any other questions for him?
No, I think that's right. I mean, yeah, just keep, I think if you're hoping for love, just keep looking towards the skies and just wait to see what comes. I'm sure something will come sometime in the future. If you just believe in it. Yeah.
Just keep lurking. All right. Well, Nesta, thanks for coming to our podcast today. I actually wanted to introduce you to someone that you might know. So,
is that Cassian? Ugh, God.
Yeah, that is Cassian. I thought you knew each other.
How are you, Cassian? How's the Night Court gang going?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. Good to see you, Nesta.
Oh, it's not good to see you. We doing questions or something? Like, what's this? They said that I get free wine if I came along, so I'm here.
Who said that? No, that we don't have any free wine to
What?
give you. I'm not sure if we have a producer who can clarify that. We just thought that you were interested in chatting with us today.
Yeah, well, we can just get over that as quickly as possible because, Resand has cut me off. He's cut off my funding. I can't get anything from readers. I need to go get drunk. And, I'm kind of pissed right now. So
What are you?
You're not
You're just
helping,
pissed how you got.
I don't know if you know this or
Look.
not, Nesta, but I do have wings, and I can take you wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go.
Yeah, but Azriel's are bigger than yours, Cassian. So I'm kind of more interested in those ones.
I'm going to pretend like you didn't say that. But even if you did, that's okay. It's okay.
And what do you think, Cassian, about Resand cutting Nesta off?
Whatever. I do have money, I think, and I will give it to you.
What do you think of that?
Give you a ride and some money. How about that?
I'm just gonna go down to readers, and I'm just gonna meet some nice Fae guys. I think there's some really hot ones that just got signed up for the. I don't know, what are they? Those Illyrians. They're pretty ripped. They're pretty hot. So I think I might go and meet some new guys that are not part of the Nightcore gang.
Okay. Well, Resand's more of an acquaintance at this point. You know what I mean?
But you're also friends with Amryn and Moa, and they're all friends with Feyre, because everyone loves Feyre. Feyre's just the best. She's just the best at everything. Oh my God, I love it so much. Oh my God, you're doing that art. I love it so much. Oh.
Your paintings, they're not great, but we just say they are just to make her feel. I'm sure you can paint better. Love to see it sometimes.
Paint, Nesta? Do you paint?
No.
Why would you paint something when you are yourself a painting?
Stop it, Cassian. No, I am a lady and I don't do painting. I like to sit and I like to drink and I like to bitch about people because that is what I do. And I mean, what else are you going to do with your time? What would I get all paint covered and stuff. That's just that is not my thing. It's not my thing.
Fun fact, I like to sit, drink, and listen to people bitching about things. I think we're going to have a good time.
Was there any main reason I needed to be here? Was there anything important you needed to ask me? And why did you bring Cassian? Look at him. Those wings and that long, luscious hair and beard I just sort of want to run my hands through. We can just just feeling a little uncomfortable, okay? It's just a lot going on right now and just really need a drink. A proper a whole bottle of drink. Cassian, can you talk to Resand and explain to him that I need to be switched back on with the funds because that's my coping mechanism to help me get through everything I've been through, ever since being turned Fae?
I'll do it as soon as, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Whatever. Sure thing. Consider it done. I've been known as a nice person. Lord of Bloodshed, out, but Lord of Happy Stuff. It's a work in progress, the name. But to be fair, I'm just a good person. Trust me.
And all you do, Cass, is work out. All you do is work out all the time. And what is the point of that?
That's a fair question.
This is the point. What is that? What kind of question is that? This is the point. Hey, I remember training in front of you recently. I saw your face. I saw your eyes. Let's not play games.
Time doing that. Why would you do that? It's there's 10,000 stairs to that House of Wind. Who would ever do that? I'm never, ever doing that. Ever.
I fly and winnow. I don't use the stairs. But you won't let me take you anywhere. That's why you have to use the stairs.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't go there. Because it's really hard and really far away. And I'm fine as I am. All I need is readers and my apartment and to be left alone, except for the hot young Fae guys. That's all I need.
You'll get over that. Just a matter of time.
All right. Well, is that it? Because I'm going to go to readers very, very soon.
You know what, Nesta? I think that's all the time we have for you. So thank you. Thanks for coming. Sorry about the wine and the miscommunication there about wine. Thanks, Cassian,
Yeah.
for coming.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the bottom of who thought this interview was a good idea. But
I thought it
yeah.
was a great idea personally, and I'll meet you at Rita's, like you said earlier, Nesta. I'll be there.
I didn't invite you.
Yeah, you did.
All right. And on that note, thank you so much, both of you. Okay.
Yep. So we're going to do some rapid fire questions with you now, Stephen. So we do this with everyone that comes on our podcast. These are just questions asked. Answer them as quickly as possible. Sort of first thing that comes into your head. We used to say just like, don't give an explanation, but we actually love explanations. So you can add more if you want to. Okay. But are you ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
In the zone? Okay.
I'm ready. I'm not ready, but I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. What is your favorite type of male main character? Hero, morally grey, or a villain?
Ooh, I really like the hero personally. I like a good hero story, but I also like him to start out not your typical hero. Like if you take Harry Potter, for example, Harry Potter doesn't start out like your typical hero, but he becomes the main hero. And I like the progression of that, mainly because I can see myself as the non-hero and I would like to impose myself into stories and become the hero. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that's
a bit like the Violet and that as well. This character that's kind of like, they just think they're ordinary and they're maybe
ordinary,
strong.
He's been bullied. He's not the typical hero type. And then he grows into that. Mainly, maybe that's because I just want to be that character and I know my past and my current. So, but that's probably my favorite type of male character.
Do you like a happy ending where everyone lives happily ever after, or a tragic ending that breaks the reader's soul into a million pieces?
Oh, it's a difficult question. I have too many moods to pick one. If I'm feeling bubbly, if you will, I like a good chick flick. Like I just watched While You Were Sleeping. Have you seen that movie? I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. What's her name? I forgot her name. But I love chick flicks, like all the Matthew McConaughey stuff, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So I like the happy endings, which is probably why I like reading freaking romantasy so much. Yeah. I am a straight man. I will say that. I'm a straight man who likes chick flicks and romantasy. But so I like the happy ending most of the time, but I also like the twists and turns. I kind of want to work it out. I kind of want it to work out in the end, but I also have moments where I'm like, I don't want it to work out. Like, for instance, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, I really enjoyed the fact that Game of Thrones ended the way it shouldn't have ended. I didn't like the ending. I hated the ending.
Yeah.
But I liked how what's her name? Daenerys Targaryen became the villain. Such a crazy plot twist. But if you go back and watch it after seeing the end, you will see the progression of crazy along the way. They did a good job of that. So it was always going to happen, I think. Yeah. But I like that. I like the twist. So I like both. That's a long answer, but
yeah. No, but I know what you mean. I saw Daenerys turning bad. I feel like they could have done with another season though to really like it sort of jumped. She was like 1 minute she was rescuing people and next minute she's like burning entire cities with innocent people.
Oh,
it was
man,
that
episode hurt me, like physically just felt terrible because you could see people burning a lot. It was such a gruesome episode. It was painful to watch. But so I like the twist, I like the turn, but I do like a good happy ending.
How did you feel though about what's his name, the three-eyed raven? The guy ended up being the three-eyed raven at the end.
Oh my! He's Elaine in the freaking story. Just a worthless character. More boring than going to the DMV to renew your license. Why?
I know. And they're like, because he had the most interesting story. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. Jon Snow had the most interesting story, and I backed him this whole way, and he came back to life because apparently he was important. And anyway,
you know what's interesting? That whole thing about he and her being related and him being a Targaryen didn't even matter. Didn't even matter. He got caught by the dude with no penis and sent back to the wall. And now he was just at the wall now, the main character. Sorry, my mom's waving at me. She came over to play with the kids. She just heard me say the guy with no penis as she was walking by the store.
Hi, Mom.
You know what I'm talking about, though? The eunuch or whatever? Anyway, it's terrible ending to that character. So I didn't like that.
Do you prefer a magical female main character with no physical strength or a physically strong character with no magic?
Female? Did you say female?
Yeah. Or probably just main character. A main character that has magic and is strong. No magic and is strong, or has magic and no strength.
I prefer magic generally speaking. I like the idea of magic because I don't want to hear
Mm.
about somebody that could be a real person in real life. I read books to escape real life because real life is terrible most days. So I don't want to do that whole thing. So I enjoy the magic. I like to escape into worlds that I will never be a part of other than having my nose in the pages.
If you could pick a pet dragon, what kind would you pick and why? Or like from which series? Like, would you choose a Game of Thrones dragon? Would you pick Fourth Wing? Do you have
Well,
a
I'm
particular
scared to
thought?
answer because Allie is so opinionated about dragons and wyverns.
I'll give you a pass. I'll give you a pass.
How about Dragon Tales? Remember that show?
Yeah.
I'll pick one of those. Those are nice. I'll be eaten alive instantly if I had a real dragon. Like no one's surviving Beskayeth if we're actually going there. I'll be burned alive.
Yeah.
Or maybe you know what?
Well,
Maybe that would kill me too. We'll go with the Dragon Tales dragons because that's the only one I could handle. Unless I was magical, then I guess I would go with the Fourth Wing dragons or maybe the Game of Thrones dragons.
Well,
Probably more Fourth Wing.
I
'Cause
said with Fourth Wing.
Yeah, Fourth Wing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
feel
would
like
say
it's
I think I'd be like a griffin rider because they don't die. Like they don't have to
Yeah.
do the parapet. They just like
So
jump off and catch
unnecessary.
in the
All
water.
the death that happens is so unnecessary. Even the conversation in Iron
Yeah.
Flame they're having with the Griffin Riders. Why are you killing your students? This is absurd. We don't die. Yeah, good question, Griffins.
Exactly. Okay, if you could be someone from a book series for one day, who would you be and why?
I mean, I gotta go with Harry Potter. That's the only world I really want to exist in is the Potterverse or the whatever
Yeah.
that is. I just love I'm in my 30s now, so I'm not going back to school, but I like the idea of going to Hogwarts, learning magic. I'm pointing at my picture. You can't see it. What am I doing right now? I'm pointing at a picture of Hogwarts. Can you see what I'm looking at? How can you not see that?
That's where I want to be, up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
wanna be up
sidetrack us
there.
again. Have you read The Magicians by Lev Grossman?
I have
The
it.
series?
So I read it and I didn't like it, but I think it's because I was in a different state of mind, which is also important for if you're
Mhm.
taking in any sort of media, whether it be movies or
Yeah.
books. You have to kind of want to be there to enjoy it. And I didn't really want to be there. I was just dealing with some I wanted to relive some Harry Potter stuff. I started reading that and I was like, this isn't the same thing. So I didn't really
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it that
yeah.
much. But I think if I read it now without those expectations, I probably would like it. But
Yeah, I just loved it because it was like it opened up the world of like, well, Harry Potter could still be true, but it's just
Yeah.
graduate school, and you could go to it in your 30s, and I
Yeah.
could still get picked.
They glossed over the school a lot. The main focus wasn't necessarily the school. I didn't like that aspect. It kind of
Yeah, that's true.
but I didn't read further than book one, and I don't even think I finished book one. It may have DNF'd it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
maybe give it another try because
maybe.
the next
All
one's
right.
so good.
Yeah.
All right, back on track.
Sorry.
What
Yeah,
is your
back on track.
favorite? What is your favorite
Are you
non-bookish
still
activity?
pretending to be Nesta right now? I'm just kidding.
Okay, what is your favorite non-bookish activity? What do you like to do when you're not reading or bookstagramming?
So I like going to the gym. And I also
You
like
playing Cassian right now?
no, I really do like going to the gym. I don't have the muscles of Cassian, but I like working out. But I like watching just random YouTube videos that make me laugh or stand-up comedy.
Mm.
Or I like playing with my kids, watching movies with my kids. Just hanging out with my family. I don't do a whole lot other than those things. But also I like
Yeah.
playing music. So I play guitar, acoustic guitar, and I write music. So I enjoy that as well.
Amazing. Okay, ship question. Who do you want Azriel to end up with romantically at this point in time?
I feel like I need to learn more about the characters before I can make a final decision. I don't want him to end up with Elaine unless Elaine has more to give than we've seen already. I'm
Mhm.
okay with because they're both kind of weird. Not weird. They're both kind of. Now I'm being Cassian. They're both mysterious in a sense. He more than her. So maybe I don't know. I feel like his character belongs with like a ditzy chick who just is like the life of a party, and she like reins him in, and he reins her. And you know what I'm talking about, like opposites attract kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know that
I
those.
think that there's a potential character in these ship wars that is like that, but you
Maybe
don't know her
Gwen.
yet.
She's not Gwen's not ditzy, but she has a lively side. I think if I'm remembering her character correctly, I
Yeah.
kind of
I
skipped
think
over
you're
her
gonna be a
character
Bryce
mentally.
Ariel.
What is it?
I think you're gonna be a Bryce Ariel. I think you will be.
Bryce, is that a dude?
No.
Oh,
No?
I only say that because my cousin's name is
You've got
Bryce.
a whole other series to read before you know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
My cousin's
We'll
name is
say no more
Bryce,
about it.
so I just assumed that was a guy.
No, there's a lady character named Bryce,
Okay.
and
Even if he is a dude, I
yeah.
just have to meet him first to make a decision.
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
That's right.
Make
That's
a
right.
decision.
Eris, you're just a fan of Eris. He's also the life of a party, and he's a
True,
great
maybe
dancer.
Eris.
So
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm not attached to any of them though. I'm open to whatever Mama Moss does, if you will.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it's a good story, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like as long as it's like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is an epic story, I'm pretty happy there.
I have
Okay,
a
what is
question for you, if I may, because I don't know if you're going to ask this or not, and I don't want to take more of your time than I need to, but
No.
I do want to know your opinion about this. Do you think Tamlin deserves a redemption arc?
Good question. I actually was just talking about doing an episode to say, are Elaine and Tamlin going to end up together? Because a lot of people are talking about that being the ultimate Beauty and the Beast kind of thing, where, the Beast has to really be redeemed. And, like there's the whole spring flowers that was on the chest of drawers. I've always kind of thought maybe her and Lucien were going to end up like killing off Tamlin and then ruling the spring court as High Lady and that, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're just not vibing right now. There's no vibes with Lucien. So maybe
the theory that one of you said earlier is that Lucien thought somebody else was the mate because he had a...
Tamlin.
Okay, so that would make sense then. He was protective of her because of Tamlin, because he has this relationship with Tamlin that's basically toxic, but he still admires him for some reason. So maybe.
I'll come down on this. The internet's going to kill me, but I think any character can have a redemption arc.
I agree wholeheartedly, because
and should have it if that's how the character, and if they do the things, if the author writes them doing the things that redeem them, then they should have that.
Yeah.
So I hate Tamlin and Dane, but they can be redeemed.
Yeah. What about you, Stephen? What do you think?
I think it would make for a very, very good story if he had a redemption arc, because we've seen him progress somewhat already. He brought Rhysand back to life when he didn't have to, but he did so because he loved Feyre and he wanted her to be happy, which is not a small thing. Mm-hmm. And then he allowed Rhysand to come into his own castle and just talk crap about him without hurting him. He was just kind of done at that point. And now he's being a furry in the forest. So I think he's trying to find himself right now.
Yeah. Just have to wait and see that next book. I'm really just waiting to get some updates from Sarah. Anytime now would be great.
She's milking this thing for all it's worth. She probably hasn't finished.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you describe what you think is the scariest type of villain? What kind of villain do you think is the scariest? Are they...
Well, a child is usually the scariest, because you're like, what I'm talking about? Like in a horror flick, you see a kid at the end of the hallway. You're like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. It could be a fully grown man. That is less scary than a freaking child for some reason. I don't know why that is.
And when you've got young children and they come in at 2 a.m. and just stand there in your hallway, it's terrifying.
Lurking, like, oh my, am I about to be murdered? Is this really happening? I thought I loved you, child. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Okay. What is the ultimate spice level when you're reading books? Do you like mild spice, medium spice, hot spice, very hot spice, so hot you're dying, but if you're going to die, it's probably a good way to go?
So hot that my bowels become watery. That should have been one of the answers.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a fan of spice, but I will read it if it's there. I'm more interested in the story. Does that make sense? So if it's just spice, like, I'm not interested. I don't read books just for spice. I read books for the story and my ability to, is this a good world that she's built or they've built or he's built or whatever? That's what I read it for. I don't read it for spice, but I do know there's people out there that read it just for spice, and those books don't have a lot of plot seemingly in those certain categories. It's just about the relationship building. So,
but it sounds like you're a big fan of like Throne of Glass world, where there's just like this huge epic fantasy story, maybe a little sprinkling of spice, but mainly it's about the story. Yeah,
I do like a good love story. I really admire, like I said, I like chick flicks. So, but I mean, I don't necessarily need spice. It's fun in some cases, but I focus on the story more than anything. So if it fits well with the story, I'm all for it.
So you fell for Rowan just like all of us, like
Rowan? I like Rowan's character because we talked about it. He has a character development kind of a thing, but I haven't got to any spicy moments yet with him.
Okay. Is it okay to kill off a main character?
It is if you can replace them with someone else that you can like. Because if you kill off all the likable characters, I'm not reading the series anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember,
Very
did you ever
true.
see the series? This is a television show, Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
And then they got rid of all
Wow.
the characters and they tried to pick it back up, and no one cared
Mhm.
because it wasn't the same thing. Like, and no one cares.
Well, I think I watched The Walking Dead all up to a point where I just felt like pretty much everyone that I loved had been killed off. And I
Yeah.
was just like, I can't be redeemed from here. Everyone just keeps dying and there's no hope in this world.
Yeah.
So
Similar with Grey's Anatomy, although they bring new characters into it, but they kill off all the people you love. And you're like, what are we doing here, guys? This feels like real life at this point. I'm not a fan. So yeah,
all right,
I'm okay with it. If you can replace the character, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, final question. What is the best romantic environment? A hot tropical hideaway by a beach or a wintry ice realm castle with a roaring fire and one bed?
Yeah, that one. Roaring fire. Man, you just took me there. I mean, I'm there right now. Just the ice castle. Give me Elsa next to a fire. That's good stuff.
Nicole and I are split on this one, so we always ask this question because she's a hot tropical environment girl, and I'm a like cold hot spring fire.
I understand the
wintry
necessity of
Wonderland girl,
both,
so.
the lure of both. But I have my house decorated for Christmas early, so I'm in that phase. So I can't see past any of
Wintry
that right
phase.
now.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm actually now super inspired. It's like 1st of November. I'm like, right, who's ready for Christmas?
Last night we decorated our house. We had with the kids. We ate cookies and we had music playing, and then we watched part of the Elf movie. So it was a good time.
No, Christmas is the best. Like the longer it lasts for, the better. And the decorations are so pretty. The only problem we have here in Australia is it's like summer and it's hot and it's like doesn't get dark till like 9 p.m. So we don't quite get that ice kind of
vibe.
Christmas. Like we really want to go and experience a wintry Christmas one year because
you have to come stay with us in Utah over winter.
I live in Texas, so I know how you feel on that, Nicole. It's basically the same atmosphere, seemingly.
Oh, amazing. Oh, Stephen, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for being a good sport and bringing us some awesome Sarah J. Maas characters. We've loved having you, Cassian and Azriel, along. Guys, now, if anyone wants any updates on you, or is there any updates anyone should be aware of maybe what you're going to be doing over the next, like 12 months, or what's coming for official Stephen Walker?
I don't know if I can say this yet, but I'll say it. I'm doing my first fantasy ball in May of next year.
Ooh, fun.
I won't give the name. We'll say I'm just going to a fantasy ball.
Yeah, keep that a secret.
In May,
Yeah.
May 31st. I'll be in Illinois. What is it? Ohio? I think it's Ohio. So that's my first. Somebody is paying me to leave Texas to go be a character in a fantasy ball. Never would have thought that would happen.
Yeah.
So you're literally going to go, I'm guessing it's Cassian you're going
No,
as?
it's not like they're doing their own thing. It's like a interactive. They're creating the characters, and then it's a ball also. So it's not going to be any book characters. They're going to create their own.
Cool. That's fun.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well,
then everyone should follow you on Instagram if they don't already, so they can get updates.
Yeah, there's more announcements on that coming soon. So,
yeah.
But if you go to if you go to official Stephen Walker, Stephen with a V, like it's spelled, officialstephenwalker.com. I try to keep that updated with stuff, so that's where you can find all my stuff.
Yep, amazing. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Stephen. We've loved having you. Guys, if you want, you can subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.